This is music, and this is another taste of Mary's blood. Welcome to the second episode of A Taste of Mary's Blood, a small series of videos where we talk about Mary's Blood releases, at least the ones I have in my collection. So it's kind of like part of me exploring the music of Mary's Blood. And it's a Japanese heavy metal band. They have either broken up or at least gone on a sort of an infinite hiatus, which is a bit sad, but sometimes I guess people will have to do what they have to do. But in any case, we're going to have a look at this one today, Confessions from 2019, a full-length album, and the disc kind of looks like this, pretty cool, I think, purple kind of color theme, and had this been in the jewel case, this is what sort of the piece of paper underneath the tray for the disc would look like. On the back you have a shot of the band here and a track list, and this is the JPU Records release that was released here in Europe. Cover artwork booklet looks like this. Pretty cool, I think, visually. This would look great in vinyl. I don't think it's been released on vinyl, but it will look great in vinyl format. This is what it looks like on the back. And then the booklet is, you got some lyrics in kanji with transliterations, and then you've got some band member photos. This is the singer, I think. She goes by the name of I mean, spelled like an I, like this, but I don't know if it's pronounced like Eye or something like that, but I. Again, some more lyrics, and this is Saki, the guitar player, and some more lyrics and kanji and transliterations, and Rio, maybe the bass player, and Mari, the drummer. She's a beast. She's an amazing drummer. She's really a beast behind the kit. So that's great. She's so great. And then, because it's the JPU Records, you also have a section where the lyrics have been translated into English. And you got the lineup here. Ai, Saki, Ryu, and Mari. So, yeah, pretty cool kind of little booklet there. But the important thing is, of course, the music. So we have 11 tracks on this one here. The first one is called Labyrinth of the Abyss, and it's a pretty cool song. It has kind of like a dark, ambient, atmospheric opening, and then it kicks into a kind of very simple but quite heavy riff, almost kind of strangely groovy. You got some symphonic elements. I mean, it's synth, but it has a symphonic feel laid on top of the very simple riff, and that actually works pretty well, I think. The pre-chorus and the chorus are all out power metal with some really cool rock belting vocals from Aye. She's a more versatile vocalist than I think she's given credit for. She can certainly do some awesome belting, and that's what you hear in this song. The guitar solo by Saki is chaotic, and it has some sort of guitar synth effects in places, and it actually sounds pretty cool. I quite like that guitar solo. So overall, it's kind of like a dark gothic power metal track, kind of like dark power metal. Uh, Instead of the, happy, feel good, larger than life, power metal, it's darker, it's gothic, and it's pretty cool to hear, power metal that sort of explores that side of things. The next song is called Karma, and that's a modern metal track, I would say. It's very aggressive. It has some very cool riffage, and in the pre-chorus and in the chorus itself, it becomes very melodic. And there's some really nice vocal melodies in the chorus, I would say. And there's a pretty cool breakdown as well in the song that in itself has some cool riffage, and there's some kind of electronic effects on top of it. And then a really tasty guitar solo. And this is also Karma, I would say, kind of like a dark gothic power metal track. So very cool. The third song is Arcadia, right? One of many songs by Japanese artists called Arcadia, or something with Arcadia in it. It has a really nice multi-layered guitar opening, very melodic as well. Then it kicks into more of a Dragon Force kind of affair, so more happy power metal. But the verse is more like power thrashy and really cool. And then you have the larger than life vocal lines in the chorus that you need almost in a kind of Dragon Force kind of power metal song. I think this song is, to me at least, more enjoyable than most of Dragon Force's songs, but that's just my opinion. Some nice larger than life vocal lines, a really shreddy guitar solo this time around. So I think it's a pretty good just power metal song, and the drumming is freaking amazing. I mean, as I said, Mighty is a beast behind the kit. She's awesome. Followed by a song called Layla, and it's not a cover version of that Layla song. This one has a pretty cool kind of percussive opening, and when it kicks in, there's kind of a Middle Eastern feel to it, or maybe Indian, but I think more Middle Eastern, but what do I know? I like the chorus a lot. I think a lot of people will probably, metalheads will find the chorus to be kind of cheesy, I don't know. But I quite like the chorus, the instrumentation and the vocal lines and the singing style in the chorus, because it reminds me of some old anime. I don't remember which one, but some old anime that I used to watch. And we're talking maybe early 80s or maybe even late 70s anime. I can't put my finger on it. I think a lot of people will find it cheesy, but I really like it. It almost has kind of like a Latin kind of feel to it as well, which is interesting. I always feel like I want to go, like Picard in Insurrection. Have you seen that movie? Come on. Whatever. Okay. There is a super tasty guitar solo in this song, and just overall some nice riffage. So Layla, whatever. Nice song, followed by a song with a Japanese title, Aim, which is just aim pronounced Japanese and this is a cool song with a very cool bass line in the opening, and it's more of I would say more of a grunge sounding kind of song, or alternative, it's rock inspired song perhaps. There are some, in the riffage, it's kind of like your 4-chord, kind of maybe Nirvana inspired riffage. But there's some really nice guitar harmonies inserted into the song that I really appreciate. And some awesome rock belting every now and then. So, I think it's a pretty good song. It's kind of different from what you would expect. But I quite enjoy it, Aim. Followed by a song called Hello, another very popular title among Japanese rock bands. This is a disco pop inspired song. There's some nice vocal melodies in it, but I have to admit it's a song that I tend to skip. It's not bad. It's just not my cup of tea, to be honest. Just a bit too happy poppy for me. There's a really cool bridge in it though, so there are some things I can certainly enjoy about it. But Hello, not my cup of tea. Followed by Mermaid Serenade. This one is pretty cool. It has a guitar melody in the opening, and it returns as kind of a theme that reminds me of It's a Sin by the Pet Shop Boys. And I do like the Pet Shop Boys, actually. I don't have anything by them, but I enjoy, listening to their songs when I hear them. And if I find some cheap Pet Shop Boys vinyl records, which I might actually find in a Chord's secondhand outlet, I might pick them up. But yeah, so the guitar melody reminds me a bit of the chorus melody, I think, or maybe it's the verse, I don't remember, from It's a Sin by the Pet Shop Boys. There's a really cool drive to the song Mermaid Serenade, and in the chorus there's an epic symphonic feel to it, because it's a power metal kind of song at the end of the day. And there's another really tasty guitar solo from Saki. She's such a great lead guitar player. She can do chaos, she can do shreddy stuff, she can do tasty melodic stuff. Followed by a song, again, which might be different from what you would expect. High Five. This is a fun song. It's an uplifting rock song. It has pop punk elements to it. Ultimately, I think it's kind of a punk song. And I think their bass player, Ryo, I think she's more of a punk girl. So maybe that's why, and Saki is more of a metal girl. So sort of just a pretty nice, shall we say, way of those styles meeting in the middle. But yeah, so High Five, more of a punk song. I feel like in the chorus reminds me a lot of some of the more punky moments from Maximum the Hormone. Maximum the Hormone, one of my favorite bands, so I don't have a problem with that at all. There's a really cool rock and roll guitar solo in it. It's very uplifting, and just the end of the song, the last couple of sections of the song before it ends are just fun, sing-along, friendly. It's a really enjoyable song, more of a fun pop punk kind of song, but I really like it. Followed by a song called Go Ahead and Laugh. That's another sort of power thrash, maybe even speed metal kind of affair. Very, up tempo. There's a great chorus in it. The bridge is groovy. And overall, another kind of very riffy song with some cool riff in it. Some really tasty guitar work overall. It's a good song. I like that one. Go Ahead and Laugh. Followed by the penultimate song called Virtue Were Real. So not Virtue Real like the Iron Maiden song, but Virtue Were Real. It's another power thrasher. It has some really aggressive belting again by Ai or Ea or whatever. I apologize for not knowing how to pronounce her name. It's very well composed as well and very well arranged. There's some nice dynamics to it. So it's just a really nice metal song that I really enjoy. And the last one on the album is called something along the lines of Shukusai no Kane, I think, or maybe Kare. Requiem for the Victims. Very cool song. It's kind of creepy, and there's kind of like a psychotic King Diamond-esque feel to it. There's kind of like a carnivalesque feel to it as well. Gothic and to some extent folk. Maybe that's kind of like a folk carnivalesque thing that sort of maybe they go together. So it's a dark, again, gothic power metal track. There's some really just nice guitar work in it overall, and it's a nice way to sort of close up off the album. It's almost a progressive metal song to some extent. Like imagine like progressive carnivalesque sort of leaning metal. So that's a great song. I really like that song. So as you can perhaps gather, it has more of a gothic feel, this album overall. You do have some, happy feel good songs every now and then, but generally it's kind of a dark album with a gothic feel to it. Especially is the metallic songs. I would consider it like dark gothic power metal. But there's a lot of musical diversity on it. So you got some pop stuff, you got some alt rock stuff, you got some grunge stuff, you got a lot of metal, obviously, you got some punk as well. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, genre wise. And maybe if you kind of, although I described it as a kind of gothic power metal album, if you zoom out, maybe it's kind of more of a rock album than a metal album. I consider it a metal album though. There are some songs on here that I skip, like the Hello, for example. I tend to skip that one. I really like the vocals here. There's some really nice sort of soft falsettos every now and then, but for the most part, keeps her sort of range at a mid-range, and then she does some powerful belting. And I think maybe her singing style is also inspired by, I don't know what the genre is called. I have no knowledge of this stuff at all, but I've heard a number of, female Japanese vocalists from, the 70s, 80s, into the 90s as well, kind of adopt a similar singing style. So maybe Aya is inspired by maybe what's a very common singing style in Japanese popular music in general. I don't know, to be honest. But yeah, I like her vocals. Especially her belting when she goes just into rock and roll belting. That's great. And there's some nice guitar solos. And there's some cool riffs. I feel like Mari, she's a beast behind the kit. I feel like she doesn't get to shine as much as she did on the previous album. There's some songs where she can just go crazy, but there's some songs where she has to do some more subdued drumming, and that's of course also testimony to her skill as a drummer, that she can restrain herself and not go nuts. So she does, I think, whatever the song calls for. So yeah, that's Confessions. A mixed bag. Some good songs on it for sure. A couple of really awesome songs. Dark feel, gothic feel to it. There's some pop songs. There's some grunge songs as well. So a pretty interesting album. Bit of a musical journey. But overall, there's this kind of dark feel to it. And it's a bit of a slow burner. At least it was for me. Didn't click with me immediately. And I'm not all the way there yet, and it may not click with me 100%, but there are more and more songs that I've come to appreciate more and more and more, and even Hello, I can sort of find some positive things about it, although I tend to skip it. Yeah, so Confessions by Mary's Blood. If you like your dark gothic power metal and you come across a copy of this, pick it up. I think there are plenty of copies left in JPU Records online store. If you like female fronted metal, obviously, because they're all ladies in this band, I think you could pick it up. If you like kind of an album with lots of musical diversity on it, I think you should pick it up too. As I said, it's a slow burner to me. It might not click immediately, and there might be some songs that you won't like, depending on your taste in music, of course. That's one of the risks with a lot of musical diversity, is that there's a bigger risk that there's something for everyone, but there's also something that a listener might not like on it. But yeah, check it out. Confessions, Mary's Blood. Thanks for watching.